raise your right hand, sir, where I can see it.
Right here,
There you
sir.
go. Yes, sir, that's good. You solemnly swear that in this proceeding, the information and responses you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You may put your hand down.
Thank you.
Mr. Luna, before we
Yes, sir.
proceed,
Yes, sir.
there's several things that I have to discuss with you.
Okay.
Their constitutional rights and protections. The first one is you have a right to remain silent. That means you do not have to make any kind of statement. You don't
Okay.
have to answer questions, and you don't have to submit written paperwork that has your signature, especially papers that admit or confess to wrongdoing.
Yes, sir.
You understand you have that right to remain silent.
Yes, sir, I do.
You have the right to a jury trial. That means you and your attorney and the state's attorneys would select 6 people from a jury pool, a random jury pool, and those 6 people selected would hear the evidence, see the witnesses, hear everything, review the documents, whatever is in there, and decide whether you're guilty or not guilty. That's called the right to a jury trial. Do you understand you have the right to a jury trial?
Yes, sir, I do.
You also have the right to what's called confrontation of witnesses. That's a big lawyer word. What that means is you have the right to face any witness or accuser. You have the right to ask questions, to challenge or
that's the one here.
Thank you, Betty. You have the right to challenge or question or cross-examine any witness who would testify. That's called the right to confront witnesses. You understand you have that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
There's also a right called the right to appeal. That's a right where you could do it by yourself, your attorney by herself, or the two of you together. You could demand from a higher court that they review the official record in this case, the evidence, the testimony, everything, for whatever challenge you wanted to make. That's called the right of appeal. You'd have to follow the rules of how to do it and the time limits, but you have a right to an appeal. You understand you have that right?
Yes, sir, I do.
And then there is a right that's called the right to have an open and public hearing in a public courtroom. We usually do those, but because of the COVID pandemic, we've been doing what's called video conferencing. But that requires you and the state, because the state has the same right. Either one of you can demand that this hearing be done in the public open courtroom.
Okay.
Because we're not doing that, we believe that you and your attorney have agreed, as has the state, to proceed on video conference. All these rights that I've just discussed with you briefly, you give those rights up when you enter a plea. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, correct.
All right. Now, Patricia, are we still waiting for Ms. Morgan, or is she clear?
I'm available, Your Honor.
All right. So then the breakout rooms are clear, Patty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, then show us the paperwork. I'm going to share paperwork with you now, Mr. Luna, and that paperwork will be at the beginning or at the top. It's going to show what I call identifying information. That
Yes,
part
sir.
of it is going to be repeated on all the papers except 1 or 2, perhaps. And,
Okay.
it
Can
says
you hear me?
now who wants to talk?
This is Anissa Clark.
Okay, if you will wait, we're in the middle of a plea. We'll be
Okay,
glad
sir.
to visit with you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Luna, as I was showing you at the top of the papers, it has the case number 654935, the state of Texas versus Benito G. Luna in County Court at Law Number 5, Bexar County, Texas. That part will be repeated on every different type of document as we present it. Then below that, it has the title of the particular document. This one, and by the way, it is in all capitals in bold print, special dark print. This one says state's consent to video conference. As I mentioned earlier, the state
Yes, sir.
has the state has a right to demand the open courtroom. This is signed by Assistant District Attorney, and that it says that they agree, the state agrees to the video conference. Can you scroll, Patty? This was signed by Andrew Harris Edelman. The next document, again, with the identifying information at the top, this one is titled Discovery Acknowledgement. There's a law called Article 39.14 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. That law requires the state to provide access to you and disclose to you all of the information, documents, papers, videos, whatever is involved, so that you and your attorney can make an informed, a knowing, and intelligent decision. This document is signed by your attorney and the state's attorney. They're saying, yes, that law has been obeyed, and I have okayed that document. Now we have your document that says you agree to the video conference. Is that true? You're agreeing to video conference instead of demanding we go to the courtroom?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you signed that paper.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, next document. Guess what's at the top? The identifying information. This one is titled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. It's got 3 sentences that start off, and then it says that you know and understand you're charged with criminal mischief, $100 to $750. Then what is it? The third sentence? In this case, in this cause, I hereby. Can you read that for me?
The third sentence.
Yes, sir. It says, in this cause, I hereby. Read that.
In this cause, I hereby enter a plea of no contest to the following allegations, misdemeanor. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Criminal mischief, $100 to $750. All right, now
Yes.
the rest of this
Yes.
document, is divided into 15 numbered parts.
I see.
Number 1 says is the punishment that you can get for this particular crime. There's a stack of little vertical boxes, and next to each one is a different type of punishment. Now this one, the charge that you have is a Class B, and you notice there's a check mark there. What's
Yes, I see.
the punishment there for your the range for your case? It says Class B.
Class B, Class B, 0 to 500 fine.
No, sir, you're reading wrong.
No. Class B, I'm sorry, I'm blind from one eye, sir, I apologize.
Okay.
Class B would say the 0 to 2,000 fine, 0 days in jail, 0 to 180 days in jail. Yes, sir, I'm
There
sorry.
you go. Very good. All right.
Go ciego.
Did Ms. Midal, did you assist Mr. Luna and go through this entire document, all the 15 separate parts?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you satisfied that he understood these documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Luna, where
Yes,
were
sir.
you born? Where were you born, sir?
Here in Bexar County, sir.
All right. Then the papers and this record will reflect that you are a U.S. citizen. This document is signed by you, your attorney, the prosecutor, and myself.
Okay.
All of this is made part of the record. Now, the document in front of you now, again, the identifying information. This
Yes, sir.
one is my certification to you. It's trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. This certification, I certify that this is a plea bargain case, and you, Mr. Luna, have no right of appeal. Did you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. I have signed that certification. Your attorney and you have signed it. Now, what we have here is what's called an application for a deferred adjudication. Again, this document is identified with the identifying information and the title I just read. Let's talk about deferred adjudication. It's important that you know and understand. Number 1, your plea of nolo contendere or no contest is taken by this court as a guilty plea. and I can convict you, find you guilty and convict you based on that plea. Is that clear?
Yes, sir, it is.
Now, deferred adjudication, since you're going to enter a plea, I will make a recitation that says that there's enough evidence to find you guilty, but I will not find you guilty. I will honor that agreement that your attorney has gotten for you. She's gotten you the best kind of probation that you can have. As a result of this agreement, I will not find you guilty. I will place you on deferred adjudication. There will be a punishment assessed, including jail, but none of the jail part will be put into effect at this point. But more importantly, you will not be found guilty. If you live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision, and did you hear what I said? 100%, every bit of the conditions of supervision, the case will wind up being dismissed and you are not convicted of this charge.
Okay.
The conditions will be read to you by the probation officer. You will sign them. There'll be a copy put in your hands. Is that clear?
Yes, sir, it is.
Now, let's make something else clear. If you mess up, you fail to do 100% or you refuse to do 100%, then the state will ask me to give you official notice, bring you in for a hearing. And if in my judgment, the evidence is sufficient, then I can find you guilty and you have a conviction for the rest of your life. Is that clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
If that happens, then you're looking at the full punishment, $0 to $2,000 fine and jailed from 0 days to 180 days. You're looking at the whole potato. You got it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, you filled out this personal data sheet.
Yes.
Did you put everything in? Everything that you put in there, is it true and correct?
Yes, it is, sir.
All right. Now it says you're disabled. What is?
Yes, I am.
Do you receive assistance from the government or anybody?
Yes, sir.
What is the total amount that you receive, sir?
$929.
$929 a month, sir.
$929. Okay. You put in the references we need, and you have no children, no dependents.
My children are over 18.
Okay. That is a correct answer. Very good. All right. Mr. Luna, do you have an automobile?
No, sir, I don't drive no more. I'm blind from my right eye, and I don't want to take a chance with the public.
He's also in a wheelchair, Your Honor. I believe
Yeah.
he has one leg amputated.
Okay. I'm sorry you've had to suffer through that.
That's fine.
To the charge, as specified, how do you plead, sir?
Plead no contest.
All right. The plea of no contest, again, I remind you, is taken by this court as a guilty plea. However, I'm showing you now what's called a plea agreement.
Okay.
The identifying information is slightly different from the other ones because it doesn't mention County Court 5.
Okay.
There, the first two boxes are checked off. It says that you know about the right to remain silent. Then the second box says you are a U.S. citizen. Ms. Vidal, did you and your defendant, your client, check those 5 boxes off, and did he understand what they said?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Scroll. You are charged with the criminal mischief, $100 to $750. You have pled officially nolo contendere. I honor and agree to I honor the agreement that we made with the state. I order you to appear in the offices of County Court at Law Number 5 to have your thumbprint placed on the documents as required by law.
Okay.
I find that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not find you guilty. Instead, I grant you deferred adjudication in accordance with your agreement for 6 months. you
Okay.
are fined $250. But if you live up to your word, you tell me you're going to live up to this, then the whole $250 will be forgiven.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, sir. You'll not have to do any kind of community service because of your disabilities.
Okay.
You will have to pay $163.71 in restitution to Paul Baratachea. And I will waive the supervisory fees.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, Ms. Vidal. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, sir. Any questions, Mr. Luna?
No, sir, you just about covered everything. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Now, let me encourage you to stay out of trouble. You don't need this kind of crap.
No, sir, I don't.
What are your disabilities? What do they result from? Can you tell us briefly?
I've been diabetic since I was 18. I got my amputated. I've been amputated for 22 years already. I'm blind from right eye. I got a list of illnesses. Diabetes, high blood pressure, gastroparesis, bipolar, you name it, it's in there.
All
Tengo
right,
todo. Tengo todo.
yeah. Well, I'm sorry that you're suffering with that, but you appear to have overcome that to some extent. I realize that you had to suffer a lot.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I wish you well. Stay out of
No
trouble. You don't need this kind of business, okay?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Ms. Ms. Vidal, the court appreciates your help from Mr. Luna. And I, like I said, I appreciate your patience.
Thank you, Judge. May we be excused?